So this is great because look how easy this is. Like, da, da. Oh, there it is. Hi!
He just loves to grab and...
Oh, you love to grab, goodness. I know.
Oh my goodness! He's not really. He loves it. I think it's safe for him because I gave rabbit and they love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Alright. But be natural, baby.
This is Filia's dinner that she chose not to eat last night. So we saved it for her in the fridge. I even warmed it up for her. And so she's now having it for breakfast this morning. And it's a little bit painful. And once she eats it, she can have her smoothie for breakfast. I think every one of our kids, maybe not 7, went through this phase of hating beef pot roast.
I don't know if you guys have this thing with your kids, but especially when they're younger, we've done this thing where we give them food and they don't have to eat it, but it's all they get to eat. So we kind of take away the variety, which is kind of weird because in our culture, we have so many options that it feels like you're torturing a kid by not giving them other options, but we remind ourselves that in other time periods or even other countries, they don't have options. It's been hard because sometimes our kids will take a day or 2 or 3 to eat this food. I think it's worked out.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a lot easier for me now than it was when my first kids were little. Because I feel like I'm seeing payoff in that our kids, we go places and they'll eat almost anything in a way. I mean, they're not very picky. But it's hard. In our culture, I think you just feel this like guilt. It's weird that you feel guilty for saying this is your food. When you're hungry, this is what you're gonna eat. All right. I was tempted to either give her some ketchup to dip this meat in or sprinkle some cheese on it, but I knew Ben would not have approved. And I think I would have been trying to take the easier way out.
I was reading the September Patagonia catalog this morning, and there's this article on a storm. It's called The Storm. It's really about a mountain climbing summit trip in the Himalayas. So they get caught in this like static electricity storm and they have to turn around. I looked back up towards Jason and Caro and the summit above, wrapped in blackness. For a moment, everything around me went silent and I fought an urge to scream as tears welled in my eyes. It was over. This is where it gets cool. So they have to turn around because they get caught in this static electricity storm. I can't deny my disappointment for not summiting. And maybe if I'd made the summit, the entire journey would now feel like a simpler event, more tied up and defined. I now know that working toward the chance to not summit was the real expedition. A journey defined not by single moments, but by what I learned from all those moments combined. As a result, my respect for the mountains deepened, the bond with my climbing partners deepened, and my ability as a climber expanded. For all that, I am grateful. Because I'd retreated, the lesson of the trip became complex, nuanced, deeper, and more difficult. No simple thing, but a thing I'd never trade. That is how I felt with our Rainier climb. There's a way where if we would have made it to the top, it would have felt like, oh, we did that, it was simple, it's done. But I think instead, from kind of like failing to summit, our respect for the mountain grew deeper, our respect for my climbing partners and family members grew deeper, the experience was richer, but it wasn't as simple to explain to people.
I felt that somehow you were making the harder decision. And I feel like the decision you made took a lot of discipline and self-control. They're putting words to what I was feeling, even though I wasn't even on it. I was supporting you. And I put a ton of effort into supporting you doing this. And what they said was, now the trip is less defined. And so then it feels less than somehow because it's less defined, but it's really not. In fact, maybe it's even more, like they said, it's more significant.
It's so easy to make finishing the marathon the main point, or making it to the summit the entire point. When really those are like tools that we use to grow together as a family. It's not the whole point.
When I heard that you guys came back in the middle of your climbing, and I said, oh good, I'm glad that they made a good decision. They were smart. I was so happy about that. Not because of return, but because you made a good decision.
When I'm done eating my pot roast, I can have my smoothie. It's really hard. I'm almost done. I ate like half or like more than half.
Filia is just about to take her last bite of pot roast. She did such a good job eating it. Okay, ready? Good job. Now you get your smoothie. Do you like pot roast now?
No.
No. It's time for reading. It feels really good to get back to reading to the kids after our trip. Okay. I think I would put a bookmark in here, but that would just be too easy. Hey guys, I need help here. Where are we? After the Ark of God was brought into the tent David made for it, King David chose men from the priestly tribe of Levi to lead a worship celebration.
I'm a tomato store.
You're a tomato store? Well, that's cool.
You want a bushel of tomatoes?
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. You have to be in line. Yes, what tomato?
Ooh, red cherry tomatoes. Unfortunately, I don't really like raw tomatoes. I wish I did.
Bananas and peanut butter are one of my favorite snacks because they taste sort of unhealthy, but they are really healthy.
Let me show you what we are really excited about from this weekend. Are you ready for this? Da 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 da!
Right.
Ooh, look at that.
First of all, I'm just excited about how it looks. Because even if I never put anything in any of these bins, I mean, come on, how awesome does that look? I mean, that looks like something that you would just find in Costco or something. But no, this is in my basement. Ben did a really good job doing this. He hammered all this out on Sunday. And I think once we get labels on some of these bad boys, that's gonna make it even more awesome to look at.
This is actually a really big accomplishment for our family. I don't know why, but there's some families that just like do this stuff naturally. We are not one of those families. I think my personality is just like always looking forward. So I can do this, obviously, but it takes like a ton of work. And the idea would never, ever, ever just like come to me like, oh, I'm gonna organize stuff and build a bunch of stuff that organizes stuff. That
Yeah.
That's like a really difficult mindset for me to get into. So we saw this other family, it was a week ago. Cam and I were both thinking, we really want to be like that. That seems like a great thing to have in our life.
Mm-hmm.
But the thought would never occur to us, and we would never just like, it wouldn't happen naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to go completely out of our way. But now it feels super worth it.
I think one of the things that I realize we do is we make do with what we have, which is...
We're survivors, we're scrappers.
Is a skill, but this is not making do with what you have. This is going out of your way.
This is like proactive.
Very
Like,
proactive.
I'm going to organize the world. This whole organizational system behind us cost $566, and I want to show you what it is. It's actually just 2 shelving units. See, there's like 2 brackets there, and then there's kind of like 2 brackets there, and then we had extra shelves that we stuck in there. Like 32 of those clear bins and 7 of those bins. Those are all $7 each. And we can actually stack more of these on top here and on here and under here. But for 560 bucks, what's cool about this is we spend so much time looking for crap and throwing away crap and buying new crap just because we don't have a place to store it that's frustration-less.
Yeah.
So I actually think that this will save us a lot. I mean, we could use this thing for 10, 20, 30 years, and for 560 bucks, that's like 10 or 20 bucks a year. We will save that money, no problem. So I was kind of surprised. It took me about 4 hours and that much money to have something that's really great.
What we had before was this right here. This. And then I came up with, we had already had these shelves. So I asked Ben to help me put that together. So this was better, but.
Look, we got 2 matching gray boxes and then 2 matching diaper boxes. Besides that, what a mess. I can't believe people that have unmatching bins now. We look down upon them. Eden is making dinner for our family tonight.
We're gonna end the vlog now. Happy Labor Day.
There is a turtle in this house.